You must remember what Amalek has done to you, says our Holy Bible, and we do remember and we are fighting.
Now that the geopolitical drama in Israel has simmered down, I thought it would be a good opportunity to examine in a more dispassionate way one of the more heated moments. So at least once, early in the war, Prime Minister Netanyahu referred to Hamas as Amalek. That description excited some people and upset many more. So to understand this subject fully, let me give you the entire context. In the Torah, after their exodus from Egypt, we find the Jewish people were riding high. Then, to rain on their parade, comes along the Amalekim, and they begin to wage war with the Jews. In short, the Jewish people win, but the pouring of cold water on the Jewish people's reputation was seen as an extremely evil act, to the extent that we find that the Jewish people were instructed to kill not only all men, women, and children of the Amalekites, but even their animals. This law was so serious that later on in the prophets, when King Saul failed to do so and kept some animals from this nation, he was punished with the removal of his kingship. And until this very day, one of the 7 remembrances which the Jews are instructed to remember every day is to remember that which Amalek did to us on our way out of Egypt. So, if you would pause Jewish law right then, Netanyahu's statements would seem at the very least provocative, and with its worst implications, downright evil. But the applications of Jewish law do not stop there. Before we continue though, I just wanted to indicate that though observant Jews believe that Jewish law is forever, the application of Jewish law potentially could not be. So an easy example for this is that there is a mitzvah in the Torah to divorce your wife. But let's say I love my wife and I don't want to divorce her. Am I falling short in my Torah observance? The answer, obviously, is not. The Torah's directive is dependent on circumstances where things are not working out between husband and wife. The same is true with applying this law of wiping out the nation of Amalek as well. Jewish history has it that just over 2,500 years ago, there was a king named Sancheiriv, and among the many things he did, one of them was that he completely mixed up all of the nations, to the extent that Jewish law had it that there were no pure offspring of that hated nation, and even if there were, we would not know who they are. So already in Talmudic times, we find that not only was one not obligated to literally wipe away the lives of Amalekis, more than that, that would be considered a grave sin. And even more than that, we find that people approaching rabbis in Talmudic times with a desire to convert, but the concern that they are the offspring of these nations, the rabbis ignored what these individuals themselves said about their lineage and accepted them as converts. Therefore, any Amalekim comparison is not legal and at the very most metaphorical. But now you should be asking the obvious question. If the wiping out of Amalek nowadays is not a fulfillable directive, why then does it take such center stage in Jewish philosophy to the extent that it's one of the daily remembrances? To explain this on a serious level, indulge me to get a bit Kabbalistic. In many mystical books, it's brought that the gematria for the word Amalek is 240, equaling the same gematria of the word Suffolk, which means doubt. And the Kabbalists continue saying, just as the original Amalekim poured cold water on the Jewish experience post-Exodus, so too the spirit of Amalek dwells in those who seek to insert doubts for the sake of inserting doubts. Of course, it's okay from a Jewish perspective for somebody to have doubts. Also, doubts are pretty kosher if they're used to seek an ultimate truth. But so long doubts are used as a cudgel to prevent the people in your sphere from getting excited about things that they should be getting excited about, that's a level of cold and arrogant toxicity that needs to be wiped out. Hence, the daily remembrance of Amalek is to remind ourselves that it's okay to let go and find passion in good things. We should not serve as the Amalek for people in our lives, nor shall we allow for the Amalek within others to ruin our days, and we definitely should not feed our own naysaying Amalek within our hearts.